would be the table. So the table to store the company is T880. And so let me explain you what is a table. So for example, you have done this configuration, right? So this is a presentation layer. In the presentation layer, you have defined a company, but in the SAP, it should be stored somewhere, right? To show you something. Suppose say in your mobile phone, you are playing a video. Okay, that video need to be stored in some memory, correct? So that is your memory card. Okay. In the same way, here in SAP, in SAP, in the presentation layer, when you are defining a company code in database layer, the data will be stored. Okay, so the data will be stored. So now the question is how to access the database layer. So as a functional consultant, how we can access the database layer? Through the transaction code SE16N. So this transaction code will helps us to access the table, access the table, helps us to access the table where the data is stored. So if you go to XC16 transaction, then there if you enter the table related to the particular component, suppose here I am defining the company code. Now, so if you are defining a company code, so where it will be stored? In a table, right? In a table. Which table? So that table is, there are so many ways to identify the table. Okay. One step is I can directly go to the particular activity. For example, here I am defining the company code, right? So I'll be going to defining company code, and if I double click on it, just I'll be right clicking on it and I'll be clicking on help, and after that you have here the technical information. If you click on technical information, now you can see where the table name. So V underscore is the maintenance and this is the table. So now if let's go to SE16N. In the XE16N, so I have entered T800. So it is global company code data. Okay. So once I execute it, how many entries are there? 184 entries are there. Now, so here how many entries are there? 184 entries are there, correct? So all these entries are stored in this particular table with the information which you have maintained. For example, let's take our company code X Y Z I. So this is our XYZI company code. If I double click on it, so I have maintained all this data, right? Now, in the same way, either I can give here the company as XYZI and execute. So for XYZI, what and all information you have? So if you see here, for XYZI, there is a company and company name, okay, and second and name too, and language and street. So everything which I have maintained is stored in a table level, and you have the description also for that table, and you can access like this. Okay, so maximum as an SAP functional consultant, we only rely on the tables. So anytime, like it's not easy to go for a like a presentation screen and analyze, right? So every time if you want some data, you will be going to the table level and giving your inputs and getting the data for your testing or for your analysis. Okay, now you got, so what is a table and why we will be accessing the table now.